Okay, I just changed my hat because I think it's fun. And I went to Ohio State in 1985. And then I only did 2 quarters there. Fall of 1985 and the winter quarter of 1986. And I'm glad I had the experience. It was just a terrible place. It's a terrible place. It's very immoral, and the first quarter, I was really confused. I didn't know what to major in. And so I had two roommates. Most people just had one other roommate in Smith Hall. I was in Smith 714, which is a drug, but whatever. It was a terrible dorm, co-ed, just disgusting. And so, but I'm so grateful for the experience. I didn't want to I was offered a partial scholarship at Ball State University, where David Letterman went in Indiana. I wasn't going to do that. My dad and I went to see the school, and all of the women, the females there on the gymnastics team were bulimic and just really fucked up, and it was so depressing. And I'm like, I'm done. I was an athlete. I was good. I was I was okay. I was good. I worked very hard at gymnastics. I have an extra vertebrae on my right side. I have 33. Most of you only have, excuse me, I have 34, and most humans have 33. I have 34. So, I don't give a fuck what you think about that. I don't care. I'm just saying I have experienced a lot of pain on the left side because of that extra vertebrae, especially in gymnastics. Dr. Nimunitis was the second doctor my dad took me to because my mother didn't give a fuck. But I was in a lot of pain when I was hit adolescence. I started to get pain, and I wasn't super flexible, so I had to really work at my flexibility, and I did. I did. My favorite sport, really, I was really good at synchronized swimming. And I think more women should just, if you're going to do a sport, that's it. Just do synchronized swimming and nothing else. Nothing else. Gymnastics is disgusting now. It's just a vile, vulgar sport. I can't look at it. I was on at Carswell Prison, and I was like, oh my God, this is so disgusting. These women are such whores. And everyone, it's just a total cult. And all female sports are disgusting. I just don't like any sports now. I just don't. I'm just not interested. But I was a good gymnast and a good tennis player. And so um, my dad took me to Dr. Nimunitis, and, that was fine. And so they just did the x-ray, and he said, the second doctor said, we got another opinion. And my dad was good at certain things like that, but he was a terrible communicator, and like most men just deny the truth. They don't want to talk about the truth. They can't handle the truth, and they're weak. And I just don't like that, and it's just a bad trait. And whether you're a man or a woman, I just think it's pathetic, and you should stop. But you're probably never going to. And so the thing is, he took me to a second doctor, got a second opinion, and Dr. Nimianitis said, you don't have to quit. Just stick to certain, I don't know what he said. Just don't be too hard on yourself. So my best events were vault. I was a good vaulter. I did a Sukahara, which, I almost killed myself. But I didn't kill myself. I didn't. And I did it. And they wanted me to do it at Rush High School. They didn't give a fuck. I wiped out several times, but I wanted to do it because that was like my trademark, Sukahara. So now it's just, the sport is so ugly, so ugly. I like the Olga Corbett, when they were wrapping the bar. They were doing wrapping the bar. Now it's just because they're men. They're men. Mary Lou Retton was a man. She was born a boy, and she got a DUI. She got pneumonia. So this is what people should know. This, like, watch the movie or read the book, and the band played on with Matthew Modine. Why don't you do that today for homework for Sunday? Fun day. Matthew Modine does a great job in the movie, and the CDC was so fucking corrupt, and so was Reagan. but Reagan was just, he was an actor. All the California actors, Schwarzenegger, Reagan, Nancy Reagan, just they were bad. I think Reagan maybe was a good actor, but they injected him with Alzheimer's. They injected Reagan with Alzheimer's on his 69th day in office. Hinckley got off. He took the insanity plea and got off. But people could know they chose the 69th day in office because that's how these evil politicians roll. They like their to use their numbers, their evil numbers. 69. That David Bowie died at 69. It's just a game for them. Numerology is a real thing. I'm not a numerologist. I was a social statistics professor, but I'm not a numerologist. I just think, I just know, like they did that on his 69th day in office. So that's when they injected him with Alzheimer's. And so, it's a slow death. And then they watch him deteriorate like Michael J. Fox. And it's the vanity, it's the narcissism with these people, whether they're athletes or TV people. They do it to themselves. They're complete narcissists. And they're very slappy and not careful and very selfish and vain and pagan and, not very smart. Michael J. Fox is bragging about Nixon on Family Ties in the 80s. That show was fucked up. That was a fucked up show. So, but I watched it because it's like it made me more educated and wiser. That was never going to be my family. I did really well with my two sons, but and their father. But he used to get mad at me. Can't say his name because I would say you guys, and he's like, stop including me with them. I'm like, well, you're acting like them. My sons were more mature than him. Look, I just saw him. I did a Google search for myself and to see what comes up, and my yoga picture didn't come up this time. So but it did when I was in Florida at the public library waiting for the Greyhound bus, and I'm like, I don't want my yoga pictures up there from 2018 or whatever. I don't do that anymore. I stopped doing the yoga in 2020 when COVID hit. And I don't want to talk about the fucking fat cunt in California who got a protection order. There's several of them. There's seven. They're fucking losers. I'm not going to mention your name, you fat pig. You know who I'm talking about. Your stupid husband, if you're still married to him. I'll say Curtis. He's still fucking, he should fucking leave you because you're a liar. You're a liar. These women do bestiality. So Curtis's wife, not saying her name, she fucked a panda. She had sex with a panda. That's what pandas is. Pandas disorders, pandas syndrome. Their son was born, and pandas are fucking wicked smart, but they're wicked. So these women, I know, I've been down with them. They like bestiality. They fornicate with animals and children. They're fucking sick people. They're sick people. Yeah. So I'm not mentioning your name, you fucking fat bitch. And your daughter, I'm not mentioning their names because your daughter, you got a protection order against me. You got a protection order against me, you fucking cunt. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say it. The last name's Bullard. I can say that because it's been 5 years. You can't hurt me. You're not going to extradite me to California because of you, you fat pig. And your two daughters are so ugly. But here's the thing, Bullards. Your fucking daughter, Kaya, was stalking me on Instagram. And then she didn't like what I was saying. She's like, ew, ew. Fuck you, Kaya. Fuck you. You're welcome. Don't bother me. That was like in 2022. I'm in Ohio. You're lucky you got my son for Revolution Soccer. Revolution Soccer, Kaya, or Lara Kaler. Fuck, man. You people are losers. Fucking losers. So here's the thing. I went on Instagram. I didn't even realize they basically timed me out on Instagram. So I said something, and I like Instagram. Don't like Facebook anymore. I like it, so they're letting me back on. So I want to do that, and it's then I found the only person I'd want to. I looked up Oliver Stone, but he's not on Instagram. So his son is. So I'm following him, but I'm not. I don't want to follow. I'm not. I don't want to follow people on Snapchat or any of these things. I don't. That's not what I'm doing. I don't have time for that. For you, you follow me. But Sean, the way his whole Instagram is set up is very calm. It calmed me down. So I'm back on YouTube again because I want to express. You should go see him. Just Google on Instagram the real Sean Stone. So 2 Sean Stones come up. So, and I'm like, oh, can I say his name? Can I say his name? I'm like, this is how terrorized you have all terrorized me. I'm afraid you're going to call the police. I'm afraid my second ex-husband and his third wife are again they're waiting for me to say something, to say the wrong thing, and I'm afraid to open the door. You people need to take responsibility for how much you've terrorized me. You don't care. And you need to care. I got out of Ohio State and moved to California, went to San Diego State Aztecs, but the education was affordable in 1986. It was like Sean Stone was 1. He was maybe 1.5, He was throwing food at the stupid idiots on the set of Wall Street. And like his upbringing, he's on movie sets for 10 years. His dad did a movie every year about his whole first 10 years of his life. And so his mother, who rides horses in Santa Monica, she doesn't give a fuck about anybody but herself. Like all other females in America, except for me. So it's like, it's amazing how weak you all are. But the women it's like men are weak, so men have a chance. But so I'm at Google, and then I see the pictures were different for some reason when I did my Google search, and then I found a mugshot from Palm Beach, and I put myself I did it to myself. I'm not a suicidal person, but I'm screaming and yelling and texting my ex-husband's mother, Estelle, from Palm Beach in a Hilton Gardens Inn, and my sister, and they don't give a fuck. They called the police, and the police knocked on my hotel door in Palm Beach. They called the police from Ohio and had me arrested, but it did me a favor. They were going to extradite me then. That was October 2020. But they didn't extradite me because of coronavirus, and they let me go after 3 days. I had nothing. They wouldn't even let me put underwear on. I had no ID. The police came in, 4 police officers. Look, I don't blame them, but they were kind of perverted. It was fucking terror. Can you imagine? I'm 5'4", 115-ish, and they're fucking in my hotel room cuffing me, and I have no bra and underwear, and it was nighttime, it was bedtime. But I was traumatized. So I was, I'm texting I think my sister and Estelle care, but they don't care, and they're never going to care. And neither does my second ex-husband or my first ex-husband. They don't care. You don't care about me. You only care about yourselves. And so when I did my Google search, I looked, and so my ex-husband came up, and it's like I don't know what happened. So I'm at the homeless shelter. I just did one night at the homeless shelter in Tallahassee. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for it. Rhonda was very nice to me. Kearney, she was so nice, and it was crazy. The pod or the dorm was full. They call it overflow. So it was full, and women were coughing and fucked up and yelling. One woman left in the middle of the night, but it was an experience. And Candy, who gave me the Be Kind hat, she was telling me, this and that, and it's a good place, but some of the bitches were very ungrateful for it. Like I got a backpack, I got things there, I got food, because on the Greyhound bus, there's no water, there's nothing, and I had no money. I had, nothing. That's how it was at Palm Beach in October. So I didn't know. They let me go, and I'm like, where am I? And I waited for the bus for like 3 or 4 hours, and this whore, I said, let's go. I said, I'm going to go. And so I looked at the planes and I followed the planes because my hotel was by the airport. And so I got back. And I'm like, I'm grateful for everything, but I'm stronger for everything. And you people need to listen to me. It's Sunday. What are you doing? You need to listen to me. Yesterday I shared the Chosen app and the Pando app. Get the Pando app, because then you can see what jailers, not prisoners, there's a difference. The jailers have access to the prison app. The Pando app. And there's some, I don't know, I like everything. You look at it yourself and be the judge, The Pando app's great. And so I, then The Chosen, you need to watch The Chosen. So stop watching Netflix. Stop watching the shit on TV. Stop being on Facebook. Facebook's evil. It's evil. And you're not helping people with Meta. Mark Zuckerberg, you're a liar. You're in denial. All these people that went to Harvard fucking cheated and stole shit. The Obamas, all the Harvard motherfuckers, they're like second raters. The elites go to Yale and Princeton, like Sean Stone. The losers go to Harvard, and they get it paid for, and they get them through. Then they get their fucking degrees, and they think they're hot shit, and they're not. Both Barack and Michelle or Michael, whatever, Big Mike, are Harvard graduates. And so, they're fucking liars, and they're in denial. And so we can talk about this, but I'm not going to say that on Instagram. Instagram is its culture. So these cultures and subcultures, a counterculture is going against the dominant culture. So the dominant culture is Caucasian. I'm a beautiful Caucasian blue-eyed woman, and most of you are not. And you're never going to be, but so you dye your hair and you get Botox like the Kardashians. The Kardashians, Kim and Khloe, they fucking hired somebody to murder Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman because their mother loved Nicole Brown because she was blonde and beautiful and a nice person. So Kim and Khloe and all those fucking ugly Kardashian cunts try to be more Caucasian. The Caucasus Mountains are in Northern Europe. We were very white, blonde, beautiful race, the most beautiful race of people that Johann Blumenbach ever came across. Hitler fucking annihilated me. And why don't you study Scientology? Because that's on my track too. I don't have any N theta from it, and you don't fucking know what N theta is, and you need to. This is Tom Cruise. I have a lot of respect for Tom Cruise. I don't have any respect for Leah Remini. You're a fucking loser, Leia. I didn't leave Scientology and squirrel like you. Squirreling is when you're you're a rodent, Leah Remini. You go out and you say negative shit. He invited you to his wedding, you stupid cunt. You're stupid. I liked Kevin James. But you were just a fucking asshole. And I liked Kevin James and the dad and that your sitcom. Nobody fucking cared about you when you went to Tom Cruise's wedding. You're asking people if they'd ever see King of Queens, that. You loser. You're a fucking loser. And shame on you for squirreling. They should have fucking put you in RPF. They should have ruined you, but you have you're on some talk show now making bank on crap TV, and people watch you. Stupid men watch you. They think you're cool. You're a loser. Shame on you. You go on Mark Rogan and you say negative shit. You say negative things about Tom Cruise. You really didn't learn anything in your life repairs course, did you? Or personal values and integrity, or your communication course, you fucking cunt. Useless eaters. In Scientology, the SPPTS course, I read, and this is when I blew. I left, and they say you blow the course, and that means you come across something that you can't handle. And it was, I own that. I know what happened. It was May of 2009, and I read, they say, we'd rather have you dead than incapable. And so now it's now I totally get it. And I'm saying, we'd rather have you dead than incapable. And that I'm allowed to share that. Is that an opinion? Okay, whatever you want to fucking call it. But I don't care if you die today or you don't die today. You're hugely taxing the American Medical Association, and you're all so dependent on pills, and you eat so much, and you're wasting every day. You just fucking pollute the earth, and God's watching you, and you don't care. So you should take a Scientology course, but you're not going to because you're weak. You're pussy. So here's the thing with my second ex-husband. I'm very glad for him, because I think when I'm in Florida, I'm like, okay, I'm not saying the name of the company, but what they're trying to help people. They're trying to help people. So people need help. So I'm like, oh, this is good. So I'm happy for him and his third wife. So their business is good. I'm not going to even say what it is, because I'm not trying to hurt them. I want him to be happy. They're like empty nesters or whatever you want to call it. So they're helping people, but I have ideas for how, I will say this, and maybe they can hear me. The homeless shelters they have to have mental illness in the homeless shelters so that these women can get their medications, because these women were fucked up. They need their medications and they're not getting them for anxiety or bipolar or blood pressure or whatever. I don't need medication, but other people do. And I support that. And so does Donald Trump. So I'm saying, if you can hear me, number 2X and your third, good job. Keep it up. It looked like last Monday when I saw your company, you're doing really well. And you're giving what you were doing. I saw this one thing, your page looks great, everything looks great. And you were giving gifts to the counselors and stuff, it looked like. So it looks like maybe you're there's 4 bosses there. I saw that. So people need help. They need someone to talk to, and they need their medication. So homeless shelters need to be equipped with mental health care. They have the medical, it's not very good, but they're not equipped with mental health care. So I'm putting that out there today. That's a big deal. All homeless shelters, and I have, there's, this is important. This is good. So, okay, here we go. For you, so I saw, your pictures, and you look a little stressed, and I don't know, but maybe you're not. So you have, these are homeless shelters in Ohio. it says the 10 best homeless shelters: Redemption Keys, Project Hope for the Homeless, Volunteers of America, Comfort Haven Home, Above All Residential. I don't know about some of these. Pathway Footprints, Infinity Accommodations. I was going to do that, and then I called my landlord, and I'm like, Patty, just okay. So okay, that's, if there's one thing I'm doing in this YouTube video, that's very important. And I believe, okay, I believe like Doge. I have an idea for myself, but I'm not talking about that. So I want to work for Doge or work for the government as a researcher, like Lightning McQueen did when he left car racing after World War II ended. I don't need to make a lot of money. And then I also want to do my podcast. And then I woke up this morning thinking, well, I'll talk to women that have gotten out of federal prison or state prison, or want to talk about it, or jail or whatever, or they can talk about these mental. I'm not like, I chose to go to prison. I could have gone to a hospital. I said, no, I'm not doing it. So this is good. So most women who have been through it know that these rehabs and men, oh my God, they're bad. But a lot of the men want to go there. They want that. It's sad. And so, it's like the people need someone to talk to. They want to talk about it. And so it's good. It's good what they're doing in their business. So all right. So that is what I just accomplished here. And then people watch The Chosen, study the Gospels, study the whole Bible, get a study Bible. And so, and then take responsibility and learn about your history, whether you're Jewish or Black or mulatto or, I learned so much at everything. So, and it hurts to learn the truth, because some people are just so evil, and they're, a lot of it is inbreeding too. And you don't want to talk about that, but you need to know, it's like, I believe after time, the inbreeding makes men sterile. So that could be like Tom Cruise is sterile, and he sued the newspaper for sharing that, and I'm glad he did. I believe they say women were barren or whatever, but a lot of it was men were, like Isaac. He was inbred. Jacob, Abraham's second son, the Jew, the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. So then so it was, what happened with Jacob, which is interesting, is Jacob went all the way over to Syria, and he got a couple Syrian bitches, Rachel and Leah, and then a couple concubines, Zilpah and Bilhah. So that's good. But they were all whores. So they were fucking, everybody was just fucking, the sluts were so bad that they were fucking whatever they wanted to fuck. So you don't really know if any, the strongest tribes of Israel were I believe the tribe of Asher and Gad, and the sons of the concubines, because they were more Arab Semite. So they're the stronger ones. So the fucked up ones were like the Levites. Oh my God. Reuben was a fucking whore. He fucked one of the concubines, so Jacob got mad at him for that. And then Levites, and then Judah, and then Simeon, he didn't do anything. And they were all further south. So it's like, so the northern is like, the Asher tribe is up north. Gad's kind of out there in the mountains. They just did their own thing. And then Naphtali and the that one's really interesting. You got to get a Catholic Bible and read Tobit. Oh my God. That guy. That's Sarah. So there's not just one Sarah. Okay, I'm going to end with that. And then I just, I just really think you should follow Sean Stone on Instagram because it'll calm you down. And I'm sorry, he was dating a Matilda, and so that relationship ended. He was doing some movie in 2024. I was in jail, and his relationship with Matilda ended. That's just a weird name, It reminds me of Attila the Hun. Matilda is just creepy because both of my great grandmother and her mother, great great grandmother on the paternal side, were named Matilda, and they were mean. But I kind of liked them. I didn't meet the other one, but I met Grandma Bucknell, Matilda Bucknell. Okay, I'll end with this. Matilda Bucknell, my dad's grandmother, raised my dad and PJ in the project, and so they were poor, and so she was a badass. So Grandpa Macron, number two, died of a heart attack because he was such a big mouth. So he died at 45 of a heart attack. He was stupid. He just was yelling at everyone, and he was mad because Virginia, whatever. So he dropped dead of a heart attack at age 45, and Matilda was fucking pissed. Fucking asshole. Because it's like, he was a drunk until then he quit drinking at 28. But, these women, these Irish women, she was like British though. Wingfield. She was a Wingfield. So she had to fucking go to the bar because he'd get off work on Friday and then go spend his money on booze. So Grandma Bucknell, Matilda Bucknell, was a badass. I liked her. She was a lot different from my other grandma, my maternal grandma, Victoria Stella. So I like Matilda Bucknell. So both Matilda and Matilda raised my father and Uncle PJ, and they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to. They don't want to give credit to the strong women like Matilda's and me. All they give a fuck about is playing putt-putt golf and Texas fucking Hold'em, and PJ's like playing his guitar somewhere.